Section 2, Learning Objectives and Detailed Answers. Identify the primary and support hand. When studying firearms, the term primary hand refers to the hand you use to shoot the firearm. Your support hand is the hand that assists the primary hand in establishing a secure grip, managing recoil, and operating controls. Identify the common cause of most firearm accidents. The common cause of most firearm accidents is careless handling, lack of concentration, failure to observe safety rules, and treating a firearm as unloaded. Safety is the most important element of firearms training. Always think before acting around firearms, as careless handling can lead to serious injury or death, regardless of marksmanship proficiency. Identify the general rules of safety that should be applied to all firearms. The general rules of safety that must be applied to all firearms at all times are: 1. Treat every firearm as if it were loaded. 2. Never point your firearm at anything that you do not intend to shoot. 3. Keep your finger off the trigger and indexed on the frame until you're ready to fire. 4. Keep your firearm on safe until you intend to fire, if applicable. 5. Know your target and beyond. Identify what safety rules to follow on the range. Range safety rules include: 1. Immediately obey all directions and commands from the range instructor. 2. Load only on the range instructor's command. 3. Do not retrieve dropped ammunition, magazines, or equipment until declared safe by the instructor. 4. Perform unloading procedures upon command, even if the weapon is already unloaded. 5. Leave the firing line only on command. 6. Stop firing immediately when the ceasefire command is given. 7. Perform a safety check, side-locked, visual/physical inspection whenever picking up, putting down, issuing, or receiving a firearm. 8. Keep the firearm secure in its holster with retention engaged until instructed. 9. Keep finger off the trigger and indexed on the frame during drawing, holstering, or handling. 10. Always point unholstered firearms in a safe direction downrange. 11. Perform dry fire only under supervision on the firing line. 12. Wear ear and eye protection at all times on or near the firing line. And 13. Do not talk during exercises unless spoken to or in an emergency. No eating, drinking, or tobacco use on the line. 14. If a weapon is dropped, do not pick it up. Raise your hand for an instructor. 15. If a firearm fails to fire, keep it pointed downrange and attempt phase 1 clearance. Raise support hand if unresolved. 16. Report all injuries immediately and know the trauma kit location. Identify the requirements in the Florida statutes for storing a firearm. 1. Storage requirements. A person who stores or leaves a loaded firearm under Section 790.174 of the Florida State Statutes on premises under their control, and who knows or reasonably should know that a minor under 16 is likely to gain access without parental permission or legal supervision, must keep the firearm in a securely locked box or container or in a location a reasonable person believes secure, or secure it with a trigger lock, unless carried on body or close proximity. 2. Penalties. If a minor gains access and exhibits or possesses the firearm in a public place or in a rude, careless, angry, or threatening manner, under Florida State Statute 790.10, the person commits a misdemeanor of the second degree, punishable under Florida State Statute 775.082 or Statute 775.083. Exception applies if access was gained via unlawful entry. Define deadly force. Under Section 776.06 of the Florida State Statutes, deadly force is a force that is likely to cause death or great bodily harm. It includes, but is not limited to: A. Firing a firearm in the direction of the person to be arrested, even though no intent exists to kill or inflict great bodily harm. and B, firing a firearm at a vehicle in which the person to be arrested is riding. Identify the essential criteria to determine the justification of the use of deadly force. 1. Arrest and defense. Under State Statute 776.05, officers need not retreat from lawful arrest efforts. Force/deadly force is justified when the officer reasonably believes it necessary to defend self or others from imminent death or great bodily harm while making an arrest, or when retaking/arresting fleeing felons where the felon poses a threat of death/serious harm or committed a crime involving serious physical harm. 2. Penal institution escapes. Under Section 776.07, a correctional or law enforcement officer is justified in using force, including deadly force, which they reasonably believe necessary to prevent the escape from a penal institution of a person lawfully detained under sentence or awaiting trial/commitment. Identify ammunition parts and nomenclature. Basic patrol cartridge parts. Bullet, the projectile portion that leaves the barrel. Case or casing, metal/plastic container holding primer, powder, and bullet. Head stamp, it's the markings on the cartridge base indicating the caliber/gauge and manufacturer. Powder, it's the propellant that produces expanding gas when ignited. Primer, small chemical cup ignited by impact to detonate the propellant. Rim, it's the base edge stopping entry into chamber and engaging extractor. Round, complete assembled cartridge. Explain the difference between caliber and gauge. Caliber is a measurement used to identify cartridge and projectile sizes determined by measuring the inside diameter of the barrel bore in hundredths of an inch or millimeters. Gauge, a measurement of shotgun bores derived from the number of lead balls, each matching the bore diameter, required to weigh exactly 1 pound. Identify any abnormalities or defects on ammunition. Defects include scrape, indentation or tear in case wall that weakens it, a dent, which is a dimple or depression in the casing, corrosion, layering of oxidation, mold or fungi, or foreign lubricants. Puncture is an actual hole or opening in the casing. Improper seating, projectile loose or seated incorrectly. Primer seated improperly, high, missing, or indented. Identify proper handling procedures for ammunition. 1. Use only factory ammunition from reputable manufacturers. Never use reloads or altered ammunition for duty. 2. Avoid dropping or throwing ammunition. 3. Do not place ammunition in radio holders. Electrical impulses can cause discharge. 4. Avoid exposure to solvents and lubricants, which can seep into primers and cause misfires. 5. Wash hands before handling ammunition to prevent solvent contamination. Identify semi-automatic pistol parts with the correct nomenclature. Parts include accessory rail, back strap, decocker, frame/receiver, front sight, front strap, hammer, magazine release, muzzle/barrel, rear sight, slide lock/takedown lever, slide stop lever, trigger guard, and magazine assembly, which includes the follower, the spring, the magazine insert, the tube, the floor/butt plate. Describe function of semi-automatic pistol parts, the accessory rail, mounts, lights, or lasers. The back strap/front strap is the ergonomic grip surfaces. The decocker safely releases cocked hammer/striker tension without firing. The frame/receiver, main housing holding internal components. Sights, front and rear, align weapon to target. Hammer strikes firing pin / primer. Magazine release. Releases magazine from frame. Slide houses barrel, firing pin, extractor, and recoil spring. Slide stop lever locks slide open after last round or manually. Trigger and guard activates firing action. Guard prevents accidental presses.